Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. The Premier League 2016-17 season draws to a close this weekend as Liverpool play out their final match against Middlesbrough at home, knowing that a win will secure Champions League football for next season. And going into the game, confidence is pretty high because Liverpool played incredibly well in their last match against West Ham, and it sort of dispelled a little bit of the nervousness around our fight for the top four, because in previous games we were grinding out results, we never really performed very well, and when we got 3 points it was quite often by the skin of our teeth. For example, games like the one against West Brom or the one against Watford, both of which we won 1-0 and didn't really play very well in. But the game against West Ham, we played absolutely fantastically. We blew them away, we won 4-0, we probably could have scored a few more, we hit the woodwork quite a few times, and generally the performance was absolutely brilliant, and I think it gave a lot more confidence to fans and hopefully to the players as well that we've got what it takes to win this fight for the top four, because if we can take a performance like that into this game against Middlesbrough, then I see no reason why we can't blow them away as well and get those 3 points that we so desperately need. So in terms of team news, I can't really see the starting 11 changing either, simply because the team played so well. We were playing in a new system, a 4-4-2 diamond, and it really worked. You know, you saw Coutinho in a different role where he really flourished, playing a bit deeper in midfield. Daniel Sturridge played so well, having Divock Origi partner him up front. Adam Lallana looked particularly good in the number 10 role as well. So while there are a couple of shouts for maybe Firmino coming in, I don't think he's trained much this week, so it doesn't look like he's going to be fit to start the game against Middlesbrough. Maybe as an option from the bench he would be good, because given that it's the last game of the season, there's no real reason why we shouldn't just risk him and see if we can get maybe half an hour or even 45 minutes out of him. But I think from the start, the starting 11 is probably going to be the same as it was against West Ham, and so hopefully we'll put in a similar performance to that game at the London Stadium. Obviously, we've got our two top four rivals playing at the exact same time as us on Sunday. You've got Man City playing Watford, and while if they do draw and Liverpool win by a pretty sizable amount, we'd have to win by 3 goals to make up the goal difference gap, we could overtake them and move up into third, which would obviously be great because we'd avoid Champions League playoffs. That doesn't look too likely, and obviously the one game that Liverpool fans will have one eye on Sunday is the game between Arsenal and Everton at the Emirates Stadium. So obviously Arsenal are 1 point behind us, so say if they draw, then Liverpool can afford to draw the game against Middlesbrough. If they lose, then our result against Middlesbrough doesn't matter at all. And there are a few chances that, like with the Man City game, we could end up playing a playoff to see who finishes higher. But those are very, very unlikely, given the sort of strange permutations, such as Man City would have to draw 3-3, and Liverpool would have to win 3-0 to force a playoff between those two sides, that it's not really worth considering unless those freak results do happen. So going into the game, I think we are all feeling fairly confident after the game against West Ham, so I think it's quite likely that Liverpool will get those 3 points and will secure Champions League football. So here are my 3 reasons why we will beat Middlesbrough. So first of all, Middlesbrough are already relegated, and this has been something that has been on my mind for the past few weeks, because the last thing Liverpool want if they're desperate for 3 points on the final day to secure Champions League football is a team coming to Anfield who are scrapping to stay in the Premier League. And now that Middlesbrough are down, it should hopefully just mean that they're a bit more deflated. They're not really that motivated to get a win, whereas Liverpool will be, because they need a win for Champions League football. Obviously, we want to avoid what happened last season with Newcastle, where Spurs went to St James's Park and ended up losing 5-1, even though Newcastle were already down. But Newcastle were obviously playing in front of their own fans, so they still wanted to put on a show, and they had a much better manager than Middlesbrough in Rafa Benitez. So hopefully Middlesbrough being a bit more deflated and Liverpool having everything to play for still should play a part in allowing us to get the 3 points. And second of all, Felipe Coutinho I think will probably make the difference for Liverpool in this game, because he was absolutely fantastic playing in the deeper role against West Ham, so I'm expecting Jurgen Klopp to start him in the same place for this game. He was so influential, he really proved that he was just world class and a cut above every single other player on the pitch, and it helped other players at Liverpool to flourish, because it meant that Adam Lallana was able to make all sorts of interesting runs into the box because he knew Felipe Coutinho would pick him out. He obviously played that fantastic ball for Daniel Sturridge to score, because I really think that Felipe Coutinho, especially playing in that deep role, does bring the best out of Daniel Sturridge and sort of runs in behind the defence that he makes. So I think Felipe Coutinho will be the difference in this game and will hopefully help us get 3 points, because he is also a big game player for Liverpool, and normally when the chips are down, he's the kind of player that picks it out the bag and wins the game for us. And finally, this new system that Liverpool played against West Ham was incredibly impressive, and it wasn't just about having Felipe Coutinho in that deeper midfield role either. I think having two up front benefited Sturridge and Origi as well. Normally, when they have been at Liverpool, they've played their best games when they've been playing alongside each other. Sturridge has obviously played his best games at Liverpool when alongside Suarez, so he obviously does play better with a strike partner. And I think it helped in the fact that it made us a bit less predictable to teams that look to sit back and try and avoid letting us break them down, which with Middlesbrough being a team lower down in the table, that's kind of what I'm expecting them to do and how I expect them to set up for this game. I think they're probably going to park the bus. They might look to get the odd goal on the counter-attack, but I think their main aim will be to stop Liverpool scoring because their strength is also in their defence. So I think having that slightly different system to what we've played earlier on in the season has just given Liverpool a different edge and made it easier for us to break down teams, especially having those two strikers up front, having Origi and Sturridge in the box to get the ball into. It just generally makes us play a lot better and has made us play more like the gegenpressing style that Jurgen Klopp's been looking for, because that's been missing for quite a while really. We haven't really looked like the kind of team that we were earlier on in the season when we were blowing away teams in attack, and that is what we did at the London Stadium. So I'm expecting Jurgen Klopp to stick with that system because of how well it worked against West Ham, and it should help us get the win. So that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out the FIFA 17 predictor if it's already out, in which case the link will be here. If it's not, then it will be out 2.5 hours after this video, so that's 10 PM UK time. Apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here, and follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter. Bye for now.